All right, good evening, everybody. I think about a minute late, so sincere apologies. I'm blaming Virgin for this one because they have a bad network connection, yeah, on that one. So that's why it was a bit late. Sort of kind of apologies, Virgin, but hey, we'll move on beyond that. But good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Biz Talk. This is the show for aspiring, existing entrepreneurs and business owners where we talk about various things which can have a positive impact on your business, whatever it is. Of course, this focuses mainly on the Black community from the point of view of building a strong economic base. But in that sense, it's not exclusive. And I always say that circular is not about exclusivity in the sense that it's not about excluding anybody from it. The solutions are going to rely on people from many different backgrounds. And so obviously that's the intention, is to create a platform whereby we can speak about these things and recognize that actually, you know what, we all have something to offer each other. We can help build each other economically, help each other achieve our dreams, and, be more of what God has put us here for. Adi Shakoya, I'm just a guy here to have that conversation. But it's not about me, never is, because it's about a very special guest that we've got on the show tonight. And hey, so first of all, Lenique, really appreciate you taking time out for being here tonight.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really excited.
Same here, same here. So that name, is it French? I only speak
Yeah,
I
it's
only speak
French.
Spanish, by the way. So is it French?
No. Well, my dad speaks French, but yeah, it's Lenique Louis.
Oh,
But
Lenique
that's
Louis. Awesome.
French, yeah.
All
But
right.
yeah,
Well, before we get stuck in, first of all, would you take a moment just to tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and your background, please?
yeah. Hi everyone, welcome to the show. My name is Lenique Louis. I'm a jewelry designer specializing in bespoke handcrafted jewels. I specialize in bespoke engagement and wedding rings, so that have a different flair to it, and it's just very much Lenique Louis kind of aesthetic. So yeah, that's what I do.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So, you spoke about wedding rings, engagement rings just there. So I'm aware that last year you won the London Wedding Awards Outstanding Jeweler of the Year. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Congratulations, first of all.
Thank
And what did
you.
that feel like? What did that moment feel like when you won that award?
Do you know what? I was just I've, been nominated quite a few times, and sometimes I'm just it's not going to come to nothing, because there was a lot of great jewelry designers and brands as well, well-established brands that I was up against. And I was like, God, they've been in the industry for a lot longer. But obviously, what stood out is my creativity and my talent that kind of spoke for itself, which was really nice to kind of see that it was fair,
Okay.
because a lot of the time yeah, this doesn't that kind of plays a part in some of the times. This, I'll put it lightly like that.
Fair enough. Well, we'll delve into that. So, okay, great stuff. So that must have felt like a great moment. So
No,
you spoke.
I was going to say, no, it was amazing, because, as I said, I was so surprised. It
Sure.
was really a blessing. And yeah, it just really was a blessing. There was a lot of good things happening in that time. And yeah, it was just nice to get that recognition in my industry, especially in the wedding industry, and that I'm the go-to person when it's for
Mhm.
outstanding jewelry and bespoke engagement and wedding rings. So it's like,
Mm,
if you don't want something what you can get from the high street, you'll come to me, and I'm a specialist in that. So to
mm.
me, I've kind of done the work. So now it's nice to get the recognition.
I was going to say, you're considered the London's go-to expert. We'll explore how you get a title like that as well. So congratulations for that. In the spirit of bespoke, one-of-a-kind type engagement and wedding rings. And of course, you won the award as well. Now, I'm assuming, and we'll start looking a little bit more about some of your designs as well, but I'm assuming, like in most industries, in order to achieve kind of that high-level award, it takes a lot to put in, right? You can't just do the run of the mill stuff. You got to do a little bit more. So my
Yeah.
question would be, as an award winner who's obviously at the top of her game, what drives you?
Uh, do you know what drives me? This is something that this is my purpose. That
Okay.
I've really found my purpose in life, and that's create jewelry that speaks to the wearer, and I get so much joy out of it. No matter what time of the day I talk about jewelry, it is just like so much passion. I absolutely love everything to do with jewelry and just making it, the process, the customers, just it's, oh God, this is so much I could guess. Yeah, I could kind of say regarding that. I guess I think I've gone off track a little bit because I'm just thinking
No, no,
about
no, you
jewelry.
haven't, you haven't. I was just trying to, at the same time, pull up one of your designs so just people can get a little bit of a feel of what we're talking about. I mean, your
Yeah.
designs are really unique, right?
Yeah, what people need to understand is that, you know, when we go into how I started, you know, a lot of the designs that I get and my aesthetic is very much Lenique Louis, you will know it. And when I came into the industry, which was in 2009, but professionally in 2011, a lot of people weren't doing what I was doing, but obviously a lot of people plagiarize and take copy, I'll put it there, copy my designs, and obviously a
Fair
lot
enough.
more
Borrow your
established.
ideas.
Yeah, definitely. I'll say that's my truth. It's what I've seen. Is the proof is out there in the World Wide Web. So, you know, what I do is very much downloads. I don't do CAD design, which is computer aided design. I don't do any of that. It's
Right,
straight
okay.
from the idea, goes right into the wax, and that's how I work. And a lot of all my ideas are God given. So yeah, that's what's different about what I do.
Oh wow! And I want to talk about some of that technique as well, some of the techniques that you use as well to create these
Yeah,
bespoke designs, and also talk about how those designs are attracting the attention of celebrities globally. I mean, you know, I mean that to me is
mm,
just awesome as well. So,
mm.
okay, so your passion, you've gone about finding your passion. What would you say to somebody who's watching this right now who is not quite sure about what their passion is? How would you suggest that they might want to take some steps to go about finding out what that might look like?
Do you know the thing? Do you know when it comes to passion? There's so many. I would say you have to have an end goal. That's the number one. I think that's overall just a goal. Slow and steady wins the race, and that's what I always tell people. I've been in this game for a long time, so I've been taking my time because I've always said to myself, I don't want to be a one-hit wonder. I don't want to be an on-trend jewelry designer that everyone goes to, and then in the next year no one's buying from me. I always said from the beginning, I want to have a jewelry brand that people buy into, is sustainable, that will keep me, you know, keep me going. Because then what has happened through me saying that and having that focus is that people keep coming back to me. You know, I get recommended. Word of mouth is really powerful, and people
Mm,
don't realize how powerful that is. That's how I get a lot of my business. I wouldn't say it's more really social media. I would say it's more people recommending me, coming back to me. And you know, when you if someone was to recommend you to someone, that's the best marketing tool that you can have. You
mm,
trust that person. So to me, it's just keeping focus and know that you're going to get there. A lot of the time when I first started out, you know, we have aspirations, we have dreams. I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do that. But however, um, when I first started, that was getting a lot of breakthroughs, but then it was like slow. And I'm like, do you know what? It's all right because I know where I want to be. I know where I want to go, so it's fine, and I'm going to get there. And no one is going to stop me from where I'm getting going
yeah.
to. Like no one, nothing. You know, as I was talking to someone, I was doing a conference with some kids for school for creatives, and I was like, they were like, what keeps you determined, what keeps, just the same thing, the passion. And I was just like, you know, I'm so focused in where I want to be and what I want to do. Even if you tried to kill me, I would get up. I'm like the living dead. Like you can never, you can, it will, I will keep on going and going and going. It goes, I will never stop. You know,
Oh,
like
wow.
that's it. It's not gonna stop. Yeah.
I love that persistence. I love that. I mean, persistence is really fundamentally key to achieving
Yeah.
any vision, right? I love that
Yeah.
piece of
Definitely.
advice. So, just to all the listeners watching right again, so right now we have got Lenique Louis. See, I'm learning French now
Yes.
to add to my
Yeah.
Spanish. Lenique Louis, right? So, Lenique is an award-winning luxury jeweler, designer, and artist, highly celebrated for her show-stopping, beautiful handcrafted jewelry. Her pieces have been featured in a number of publications, including Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Marie Claire, Cosmopolitan, and more. And as we mentioned before, she's considered the London's go-to expert in the field of bespoke, one-of-a-kind engagement wedding rings, and her pieces have been worn by celebrities globally, as well as some homegrown talents such as Ellie, Goulding, and Ella Eyre. Okay, awesome. Great stuff. So you've spoken about kind of what drives you, your passion right there. And we recognize that passion is really important. And one of the things that drives me is really one of my current key drivers at this moment in time is to create a better world and society for my children to grow up into. So as you know, I've got three boys, 10, 8 and 9. And for me, it's just like, well, I've got to at least do something. My passion would be to, leave something which benefits the society, individuals, it helps people to get further in their lives. So you know what? My children could grow up in a world that's not as like go through some of the challenges that we've been through. Here's what also scares me as well. And I'm going to ask you this question in a moment. In the past, one of my key things in terms of what scares me is rejection. I don't know what it is about that. Right, but it's just that I don't want to get a no. I don't want to get another no. Why am I going to get a no? Oh, I don't want to know. So I would convince myself about out of going forward to actually go and ask for the thing that I want, just out of the fear of rejection, until the point when I recognized that it was stopping me in life. Yeah. On that basis, what scares you, or what do you recognize that might stop you from achieving the things you want in life?
Nothing scares me. Nothing scares me. I think I've gone past that now. I've overcome a lot of fear. I think being in the industry that I am is highly populated by, not a lot of Black jewelers and able to do what I'm doing. Like, there's been a lot of stumbling block. People tried to stop me, but I've persevered. God has seen me through over Amen. And over and over and over again. So it's just like when people want to limit me and have conversations that I would only get there or only last, I'm going to be gone in a couple of years and I'm still here and they're gone. That's just a wonderful, wonderful feeling.
Wow. Yeah. I really love that. So for somebody who might be watching right now, who might still be in that space where they're convincing themselves that either they're too old, too young, they're not this color, they're not that color, they're this, not this sex, they're not that sex, they don't have this, they don't have that. What would you be able to say to them that would maybe plant a seed that would help them to start getting to that point of fearlessness?
Do you know, the thing is, it's like, I think number one, people have to realize who they are before anyone can give them sort of any validation. They really have to know who they are. Once they identify that, it's just like, okay, pen to paper, how can I go about it? And I would say to everyone that wants to start something, just do it. In the society we're living in now, everything needs to be perfect, everything needs to be complete before we set out and go and do it. But when I first started doing what I was doing, I was in my grandma's garage, you know what I mean? And wow. My family weren't that supportive, do you know what I mean? And my grandma was the only one at the time that was supportive of me. And I had people around me that was just like, I'm going to be a big jewelry designer one day. It's going to happen, because I'm very passionate. So when I have an idea, and I want to do something, no one will stop me. So I had self-confidence in my own abilities that I was going to make it, because I know that I have the tenacity, I have the passion, and I'm very hardworking. So if I put my mind to it, I will become what I say I am, because words are powerful. So I think it's what people need to understand is that they need to speak life into their situation, life into their future. Even though things might not be tangible right now and they might not be something that's manifesting, like you can see around you. You've just got to know, just do it day by day, and it will flourish. So just step out. I think, COVID and everything happening, the amount of people that started businesses and it's been a success just shows you, with uncertainty, you just have to just persevere. You just have to just go. And people have shown that in a time like that, people just stepped out and just said, you know what, let me do it. Even though people did say that no one's buying, no one's shopping. And in the COVID period, I made a lot of my money during that time, because people discovered me through that, because I had to step out and do things differently, because I was like, okay, I've lost a lot of these customers, but let me do something a little bit different. So in that time, people were still buying. So, just step out. I think that's the one thing that I would say, just step out of your comfort zone. And one more thing I will say, when something's uncomfortable, that's when you have to do it. That's when you're doing something different. You have to feel uncomfortable. You have to feel uneasy. If you're too relaxed, you're just going to always be the same person. So for me, when I'm uncomfortable, I know I'm stepping in the right place. When I'm too comfortable, I'm like, nah, Lenique, you're always going to be in the same place. But if I feel uncomfortable, like, oh, I don't really want to do that, that's when I'm like, okay, let's walk into this. because this is I'm not familiar with this, so I know that I'm evolving as an individual, and that's how we always got to be.
Wow, I love those key pointers there. I mean, I love what you said about, in effect, our comfort zone. It sounds like what you've just described as our comfort zone. And it just brought to mind that recognition that everything that we want is outside of our comfort zone. The way I usually try and explain that to people is, imagine your comfort zone is your room, right? You're in a room, whatever room right now. The extent of your vision and what you can see and have access to is limited by your space, your room, right? That's all. So you can do as many things as you want within that space. Space can be limited. If you want more, you might need to go outside of your room and expand the space. And then the fact that's the same with the comfort zone, right? Like you said, keep on pushing, and we grow. And I guess also in that space is where we sometimes have to deal with learning how to deal with failures, right? Things might not always go right. How do you deal with failure personally?
Do you know, with failure, my dad has like been that vessel in my life that I guess thank God for his life. You know, he's very much a part of my life, and same with my mum. And you know, when it comes to fear, my dad and failure, my dad has always told me there's nothing wrong with failing. And because he's embedded that in me from such a young age. And I remember I was in school and I got like a really bad grade and I was petrified to tell my dad, like petrified. And my mum gave me more of a telling off than my dad. And he was like, it's all right, you can try again. And that at such a young age made me feel like it's okay to fail, just dust myself off and continue. And yeah, that really is important. I think just to kind of just, there's nothing wrong with failing. There is nothing wrong with failing. It's okay. I don't have a problem with getting things wrong because no one can judge me, only God. So when you got that in your mindset, you don't care about left, right, whoever. So that's how I am. Yeah.
And I love that. I mean, because one of the key things that I do, so as an agile consultant, I work with organizations to help them to respond to change. And it's like you were saying before when you was talking about the whole COVID and how you've responded to change in regards to your business, which we'll look at a bit more shortly as well. It's just that ability to recognize we live in a world that's very dynamic. Things are changing rapidly. In order to survive, we've got to be able to respond to that. And so, it's just like the Japanese word, was it? They have that Japanese word for crisis, which gives you, opportunity and a crisis. And so, yeah, it's just that it's great to also, hear you talking about, some of the things that you're talking about in terms of your journey and feel failure. Because one of the key things that I always say to clients and a lot of people is, hey, fail fast, fail early. The quickest thing you want to do is actually learn. In a situation which you don't know and it's dynamic, you can't get the answer. That's like, fail, learn, quickly and adapt and bounce on. Cool. All right. So I've got another question for you.
Yeah.
So without giving away too many of your secrets, what's the ancient technique of hand wax carving and how did you learn it? And before you answer that, here's the thing. When I read that, I'm like, wow, it sounded like one of those things. So I'm into those Kung Fu movies. It sounded like some Tibetan monk type thing. You have to go up the stairs up and down like 12 times a day just to learn the technique. But tell us about it. What is it? And how does it work?
Yeah, so what I do, I use specialized tools that I actually created when I was in my grandma's garage that I still use to this day, made out of household nails and stuff that I would file down and make my own tools because I had no money at the time. Those are the tools I still use to this day. I don't use industry tools particularly. I use the tools that I have because they're for me. And the hand carved wax technique is basically using specialized wax, which is not the wax that you have in your house, not the candle wax. It's a specialized wax that comes in different grades and different colors. And then basically you carve into that in a 3D shape. So you're not using any other device. You're basically chipping away and creating the 3D piece. So
is this correct? Or is that not correct?
Yeah, so basically that was a pendant that I was making, yeah.
Right, wow.
So obviously with some of the other pieces that I make, that is being in wax. So if you can imagine some of the rings that I've got, that was in wax first, and then it's casted in gold, 18 karat gold or platinum, because I only work in gold or platinum. So that was what, like you see, the Harper's Bazaar ring, that's actually made in wax first. So that's carved in 3D form. So you'll see exactly how it would look in blue. So it would be like a blue wax or a green wax. And then might set the stone so you can see how it would look. And then it gets casted and shined and polished and the stone set. So that's why it kind of works with the process. People enjoy my process because it's not a finish. They can always manipulate it in its wax form. If something's not right, you can try it on.
So hold on. So one of the key things that I do when I'm working with organizations, and one of the things is helping people to look at how they can minimize the risk associated with creating items, products, mainly physical
Yeah,
product. What I'm hearing there is you're using that type of approach as well. It's like a lean startup approach. So in effect, somebody can come and get a bespoke design, but before they even buy it up front and say, it's not the right one, they can go through a
yeah,
process with you where you can make alterations, they can give you feedback, and so they can then end up with their totally bespoke design, which might
yeah,
even be different from what they thought at the beginning. And only at that
yeah.
point do they say, yep, yeah, press the button.
Exactly.
Wow. There you go.
Exactly what you said is exactly what happened. And, that's exactly how it is. I sit down with the client and we just talk over what they want. Majority of the time, I would say 99.9 of the time, we're talking about other things. We get into a conversation and all sorts. And then we kind of just work on it. And then once I kind of go away, I kind of give them a time frame. I work on it in the wax. They come into the studio, we try it on, see if it fits right. They see if it kind of, because it doesn't change when it gets casted into the metal. There's not much change, but obviously when it's finished, it always blows their minds, like how
Of
because
course.
they're thinking it's beautiful then, but then they're like, wow, when it's polished, and then and it just evolves. And what I really like when people come to me is that they come to me because they're coming to get Lenique Louis aesthetic. They're coming to me because they know that I'm doing something because it's my everything is passion. I want to make sure that when the piece of jewelry that I make for them is their life will change. Like it's something that is positive. It's something I'm doing that's positive. I just want good things to happen to them. So I remember someone saying to me, a client, it's like a medallion kind of thing, kind of the ancient medallion that it's a good
Right.
luck
Okay.
charm. No, but
Wow.
but I would say, it's something, because when I think about the person and I get to speak to them, it's not just, okay, hi, you let me take, okay, like, and then they're gone. No, it's a process. And that's what I love about what I do. And that's why I just want to do this for the rest of my life. I absolutely love it.
Oh wow, that's beautiful. So what I'm hearing there, it sounds like you take some aspect of that person as a positive aspect or some form of positive injection, and you put that into your work as well. Positive energy, positive love, whatever you want to call it, into also the end product that they get.
Yeah, definitely. That's what
That's
I'm about.
awesome.
That's my whole essence. You have to bear in mind that my brand is my name and who I am. And who I am, I speak life into my situation. Everything I do is about well-being, your well-being, healthy eating, everything vegan.
Are you there? You have disappeared temporarily. Okay. Sure, she'll be back right now. These things happen. Yeah. The internet providers. The internet provider. Oh,
Oh,
you got it in time. I was just about to start singing and dancing. I was just clearing my throat. Okay. Well,
oh,
you guys have all been saved.
what was that? What was I saying?
So you was talking about what was you talking about? I can't remember. You was talking about the
Oh
process.
God.
You was talking about your passion. How this is what you always want to do.
Yeah,
How you
like,
put your love.
so who I
You do.
am as a person,
Right.
Lenique Louis is about life. I speak life. I don't swear. I don't say things negative. It's always life giving, because I know that words have power. So, and I'm a Christian, so I know the power of words. So everything I do is about positivity, well-being, love, just everything. So when I'm with that customer, they have that kind of idea of, okay, I'm coming to Lenique for this. It's obviously it's beautiful, but it's got an essence to it as well, which is the added extra. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so we're getting a few pop-ups we're getting a few chats coming in. Let me see if I can actually try something different. Dun, dun, dun. So I'm trying to use technology. I guess when the next messages come in, we might see them, so you'll be able to see them in real time as well. So we got Nikki Wally saying hi to you and congratulations. We got Giancarlo, come listen. I hope I pronounced that right, bro. Don't come looking for me, yeah? Yeah? And then we got Nikki says, very beautiful pieces and Smithism. Hi, Lynn. It's Sarah. Okay, awesome. Great stuff. Lovely to hear that. And also, hopefully in a moment we get a chance to also touch a bit more about the role God plays in your life and also in my life, because
Yeah.
as a Christian as well, I recognize that, what is it they say in the Bible? The power of life and death is in the tongue as well. So I'm very much key on watching what comes out of the mouth and what's said, and also what I speak into other people's lives. And definitely will allow people to speak in my life. Otherwise, I put one of those COVID screens. You know those COVID screens that work?
Yeah.
I put one of those up automatically. Nope, Mac, right. I totally hear you on those. All right, great stuff. So, feel free to put in the chat. Anyone who's watching, if you've got any questions for Lenique, please do feel free to put it inside the chat there. So, you featured in a major, this is what I want to talk to you about. So, you featured in a major number of publications, right? Such as Harper's Bazaar, Mary
Yeah.
Clary, and Vogue. So, these are kind of top industry publications. How did you go about achieving that?
Do you know, a lot of the time I was fortunate that being at the right place at the right time and just, people discovering me, I think I've really been blessed. And I've had, destiny helpers along the way. A stylist called Edith Millwood, she's been really just connecting me with a lot of people, other stylists. There's been a lot of people on the way that I have to basically say, thank you for putting me in the right place, that have, you can't forget the people from where you started. So a lot of the opportunities that I got, and as I said, a lot of the editors have discovered me, and people have reached out. So it's kind of, I think, when you talent, it's only a matter of time before talent gets discovered. It's only, as I said, when I first started in the industry, my dad kind of told me to write down, some goals, and which I kind of was just like, oh, this is just so trivial, like, why? And he's just like, write down what you want to do and where you want to go. And I remember one of the lists is like, I want to be in Vogue, I want to be in Harper's Bazaar,
Wow.
and all these kind of things that I want. And then, to think that I've been able to do it, it's been good. However, I move on from it. It's not like I keep talking about it. It's just like, okay, once I've achieved something, it's like on to the next. That's how I am, because, I'm not going to be talking about this for 15 years and holding on to that one thing. It's just like, I got more things to kind of like, I'm happy about it. And then it's like on to the next. And that's how I am, so it's, that's just how I am with things.
I love it. I love it. I love that you've got that. You've also come across as quite humble as well, in what you're saying as well. And since you've managed to get past that stage, because you're moving on to bigger, better things, which is also a great thing. What would you suggest? No, let me just rewind that. Actually, let me just ask another question. So you mentioned something there, which I think is also a very key, important point to success. About, it sounded like you're saying being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Is that enough, or does there need to be something else that somebody in the right place at the right time has?
Do you know what? I feel that I would say it's the grace of God. I'm telling you, like, some of the opportunities that I've got. I remember there's been so many opportunities that I've missed out on, and my grandma would always say to me, she would say a lot of sayings actually, she would say, whenever one door closes, an opportunity, you'll be down to it, something else is going to happen. And, those little sayings that she has always comes. And I tell you, God is my witness. Every time I lose out on something that I'm like, that was the best thing, something just comes and blows it out of the park. And I'm like, praise God. So that's how, I look at things. And I would say a lot of it's the favor of God. What can you do? A lot of the things that I've got is favor of God. People just discovering me. And as I said, I'm putting my desires and aspirations out there. When I pray, when I write down who I want to become, a lot of that is coming back. As I said, it's just like, I speak life, I receive life. All the things that I want, it comes back to me. It's not affirmation, when it's not that. It's it's all in scripture. Just making sure people know.
Yeah, sure. No, I totally hear you, and I appreciate you. That's more standing on the word of God, on God's promises, and trying to align ourselves with that. And I hear there also about putting the vision down, and also, which is also a biblical principle as well, right? write down your vision so that you may know where you're going along those lines as well. So I think that's very, very key. And so I guess what I'm hearing there is, but in addition, I'd say is yes, grace of God in everything. God ordains everything, and nothing is achieved without God. And it's about being in the right place at the right time. But also, what I'm detecting is just me. Maybe somebody else out there is detecting as well. It sounds like you also took the talents that you've been given, the grace and favor you'd be given. You use that to actually do stuff rather than just sit there and say, "Hey, one day God's gonna just do some put down, and all of a sudden I'm gonna be in a publication." You actually
Yeah.
went out there and took some steps. You were prepared as well.
No,
So.
definitely. Yeah. No, definitely. And I'm glad you actually expanded on that. Yeah, it has been favor, and it has been a lot of people helping me along the way. But obviously it's hard work and tenacity. I have to say that, obviously, making sure that I'm applying myself where I need to, opening those doors, actually not even open, knocking down them doors.
There you
Because
go.
as no, that's what it is, simple. Like, I've had a lot of prejudice and a lot of because of being a Black woman, that's saying where I can go or where I can't go, and just different things that I've had to knock down doors. And then, just by the grace of God, I've got there. And as I said, I'm still not there. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not there yet. So when people are like, you're doing good, I'm saying, you ain't seen nothing yet. So you just wait.
I can relate to that as well, and I can also relate to that journey of that level of tenacity that is needed in some circumstances, whereby you've got to overcome prejudices. It might be about race, it might be about religious belief, it might be about anything. It might even be about being a Tottenham supporter. However, well, that is what it is. That's not prejudice. That's just what it is. But
Yeah.
no, but I'm saying, so I can totally relate to that, and having to also get to that point when, and do you know what? The thing about me is simply this, and it's one of my, what I used to call weaknesses, which also is one of my strengths. It's that level of stubbornness. If you tell me I can't have something, I'm like, what? If I want it, I'm going to get it, just for the sake that I don't want it no more after I get it. Like, when I get it, I'm going to go like this. I don't want it.
Yeah.
But I'm just like
No,
that.
exactly. That is me. That is me to a T. I'm very stubborn to, like, if someone do you know the biggest drive for me as a person, when someone says I can't do it, I'm like, oh, you're
What's
saying I
this?
can't. And that's why I've been so kind of focused in what I'm going to do, because I've had so many doubters. I've had so many, you're not going to get it. You're only going to be so there. You're going to be here. You're only going to be in this little corner, and you can't put me in a box. What, as I said, for us as people as well, like, we have to understand that we can be whoever we want to be. The sky's not, when they say sky's the limit, that's not for me. I don't, that's not the galaxy. There's a whole world out there. There's no limitations of where I can be. So it's just like, I have that mindset constantly. Nothing will stop me in what I'm doing. Nothing, no one. I can only stop myself. And that's not going to happen.
I love what you just said there as well about the sky being the limit, which, if anybody's watching it there right now, you've most probably heard that said a lot of times. But actually, if you take a stop at any moment to really think about it, you'll see that actually is not true, because where does the sky start and where does the sky stop? If you've been in a plane, you can't say, oh, look, there's sky, it finishes. No, we don't work like that. It just goes on and on and on. So, yeah, totally love that piece there. But actually, you know what? Why put a limitation on yourselves? As
Yeah.
human beings,
And
we are limitless.
no, it's true. And again, the power of words. We were talking about words. You see, you're already saying a limit. You're putting a limit just by saying a general word that everyone says around the world. And that's why I
Correct.
said we have to be thinking about language. And, language plays a part in what happens in our life. So I'm very careful of the language I use concerning my life, my future, anything that I want to do, and things around me. So, yeah, it's important that we think about the language that's out there, especially the English language is very twisted.
No need so anything, my so you're bouncing, but most people won't Igbo, so I don't want to lose my audience.
I think there's someone in there that can speak it. I can't speak it yet, but
What's that?
soon.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
I want
So for
to
yeah,
speak
they're
it.
just dropping, so that's just some Yoruba, but yeah, I mean, we have to work within the limitations of the English language or whatever. But it's not what it is. So I hear what you're saying. So great stuff. Now, here's another thing. So your jewelry, it's been worn by celebrities globally, including homegrown talent such as Ellie Goulding. and
Mm.
Ella Eyre. What is it
Air,
about
air.
your See, I can't read French.
It's all right, it's fine.
Okay, fine. So, what is it about your designs that's piquing the interest of so many, celebrities globally? And let me just pull up a picture in a minute. What do you think it is? You still there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I just think it's just, as I said, if you've got something that kind of stands out, as I said, when it comes to celebrities, it's because celebrities are just like you and me, just like anyone. It's just like they just got the recognition and the whole world looking at them. So if you see something pretty, you want to wear it, then that's it. That's how I kind of look at things. So yeah, it's kind of, yeah, it's just like, and as I said, it's just, yeah, kind of, I don't know how to kind of say that. I wouldn't say I get too caught up in that. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah, I can feel your humility coming through, so I'm not gonna put you on the spot. Always respect and appreciate a humble person. We've got something in from Charlotte G. Absolutely stunning pieces, Lenique. Look, Charlotte, that's a great question. One of the questions we've got down that we're gonna tackle or not tackle, we're going to ask Lenique in a moment. So we're definitely gonna get an answer to that question for you. So, like I said, I'm loving that. So, for somebody out there right now, what would be a general principle or concept that you can give them, regardless of what industry they're in? About, and you've kind of already heard, you've touched on a few things already, but I'm just going to give you that opportunity to expand on some of them. Yeah, on what they could also do to potentially, if that's their desire, to get their products and services, to get interest from celebrities, and in effect, once these celebrities start using the products and services, in effect, that becomes free promotion, right?
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
would
gosh, where
say
you get that
because
all from? And it's like, oh yeah, I got it from Lenique Louis. Oh my gosh, I want some of that too.
you know what I would say, just DM them on Instagram and be like, "This is what I do," you know, And sometimes it's like, their stylists and stuff will contact you, but you can guess it's so easy. It's really accessible. Who's their manager, and then do it like that. They're always looking for something unique that someone will have. So it's always good to kind of get yourself a part of, you know, a like I wouldn't say agency, not that, but get to know who the stylists are, the main stylists of celebrities, and but things are so much easier now, just to kind of just email them or just message them on an Instagram.
Or connect with them in Clubhouse if you got an iPhone. If you ain't got an iPhone, then ain't no Clubhouse.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah. So okay, I mean that sounds great as well. And also, what I'm detecting there is for anybody who's listening as well. It's also, so if you think about some of the things that Lenique has shared with us, it's about creating something unique. It's about taking
Mm,
people through a process that they feel involved in, especially when you're talking
mm,
about bespoke and customized. But some of these key principles are not just for custom jewelry. Could be anything. Could be a car. Could be anything that you're doing. But they're core principles that you can carry over. If you also heard what Lenique said before, it's like she's putting herself into it with a real intention of a passion of actually creating something that somebody's going to love and also is going to bring some positive energy into it. It's about bringing
mm,
value. So in all of your areas of your business, it's really how are you positioning your brand? What does your brand stand for? Does your brand stand for trust? Does
mm,
it stand for, or whatever? It could be any
mm.
number of things, but which are important to the end buyer, celebrity or not. Because as you heard Lenique said, they're just human beings. It's just human being 101 is what I call this, right? Psychology 101.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Understanding that. How do you reduce the risk? As you heard Lenique talk about before, using the wax and the different colored waxes as to shape and help redesign, low cost. It means somebody can come to her and say, okay, I want that, but I'm not sure what it is. And they can go for a process to find out. That gains more trust. That helps them to say, oh, yeah, I love that process and I got what I want. How can you also make sure that you do that within your industry, in your products and services? And then you find out what quality they want. We heard there that is, what type of gold did you say you work with? What is it? Did you say 22 carat or what
Oh,
type of
18.
18?
18. I work in gold and platinum. I don't do silver.
There you
Not
go.
when it comes to bespoke, no.
This really identified, this is what they're looking for. So once again, in there you hear all of those packages, all that greatness, and of course bring God into it, have a clear vision, be able to plan it out, don't be scared of failure. Then in effect you can create something that maybe not just one celebrity, more celebrities will buy if you want that.
Yeah.
Cool. So now I have a question for you, and I think you kind of touched on it. How the pandemic, how has it affected your industry? because I work across many industries. So I work across banking, finance, manufacturing, gaming, retail, confectionery, and it's
Yeah.
impacted everybody. How has it impacted your industry, and how are you adapting to the change in how we live, work, and do business?
Um, you know, there's been positive and negative regarding like, COVID and the pandemic coming into play, but it's been really positive in regards to my business and making me look at different things and making me having to step out because I'm like, okay, I need to try this now. I might as well try it. Um, and yeah, just step out of my comfort zone because I had no choice. I just had to. At the time, I had a lot of engagement ring, bespoke engagement rings and wedding rings, ready kind of to process, deposits to be paid and stuff. And then the pandemic came and people, well, it's not even people. I just contacted people and I said, "Do you want the money back?" Because I'm someone that, the money goes back into the cash flow. It's not like, woohoo, I'm going away and spending. No. Been there, done that. It doesn't work. So, I gave a lot of, well, nearly all of them, I gave them back their deposits and the money that they put into the work, because a lot of the things that need to be done, it hadn't actually been casted as yet. So that was a bonus as well. And it just made me you know, just look at my business model and really say to myself, okay, what is it that you want to do? Are we going to wait until a couple of years time, or are we just going to do something now? And what it made me do is kind of realize that, what is the type of jewelry that you want to be known for? What do you enjoy the most? Obviously, I've got my online shop and I've got the pieces that you are ready to wear that you can wear. But what I enjoy, what I'm about is the bespoke. That's what I love. The one-to-one, me and the customer working on bespoke, one-of-a-kind pieces. That's what I like. Obviously the wedding engagement rings, I love that. But the bespoke work, the different kind of, when someone's like, okay, I want a ring and I want it really out there, I want it to have my personality, I'm like, right, let's go. Those interactions are what I love, because a majority of, I would say, all yeah all my customers that come to me are my friends. That's how it's happened, because of the relationships that we built over the years. They've come in for one thing, they come back. Then they've, told their mom, their dad, and this, and then the family, and it's all, and as I said, when you come and sit down with me, we talk about all kinds of things, because I need to understand who you are as a person. I need to gauge what you about, what you love. So a lot of people, when they come to see me, they're really like, they're nervous. So it's just like, just chill out. It's all right. Do you want a drink? Do you want to get like, what do you want, a cup of tea? Let's just chill. Like, let's talk. And then they're like, wow, this is really good. It's like I'm talking to a friend. And then it's just more of a great experience, which they can share to other people. Be like, oh yeah, that, bespoke, that's what I'm about. I can't go into a shop again. So that's what I want to kind of convert people to do, to stop going and doing computer aided design and coming to me. And another thing that I also want to note, anyone that's seen this and been like, okay, I've seen jewelry somewhere else and I want Lenique to recreate it. A lot of people come to me with that, and I guess tell them I don't do that. I don't mimic other designers or what other people are doing. I'm not Links of London. That's not the kind of jewelry that I want to be recognized for. If you want something simple, you can have a bit of your personality and a bit of my aesthetics, and it marries together. And that's what I'm about. So yeah.
Awesome. I think that's just like really great. And for the listeners out there, I think maybe once again, you might have heard some key. So one of the things that I do is like, I got this gift that God has given me, which is I hear lots of information and sometimes I pick out stuff. Now, sometimes I pick out the wrong stuff. That's so God is working me through that one. But what I heard there was also some other key principles, which I think anybody watching out there could get out of there, was the integrity piece. So in order to build a good brand, especially if you're building it around your name, and that's part of how people experience your brand, there's got to be a degree of integrity, which is actually, you know what, hey, it's not going to happen. No, this is a bad situation. I could scream and shout and say, oh, well, it's in the contract, but actually, you know what, here you go. Take your money. What's that going to lead to? People are just going to have trust. Wow. Oh, my gosh, most people don't do that. And they just give us back. Oh, wow, that's awesome. So that's more business down the line, right?
Yeah.
And then also, what we heard there was also about, creating something for somebody that they're going to really enjoy. Experience. If you had that keyword there as well. No matter what you do, you can create an experience. Doesn't matter if you never meet your customer. Even just when they pick up, even if I pick up this right now, there's an experience associated with it. Doesn't matter what it is. So start thinking about that. What are the experiences, whether it's personal or engaging in your product or services that people have that say, wow, that was nice. I mean, for me, sometimes that experience is just when I need to phone up or if I have an issue with a product and I contact them and they say, hey, don't worry about it, sir. Keep that. We're going to send you something or whatever else. That resolution adds to my experience. Like, wow, I like these guys. Yeah. So just think
Yeah.
about that. The key parts there.
I think it's important what you said about integrity. I think that plays a heavy role in my brand. My brand is my name. So I have to make sure that I treat people how I want to be treated. I've never had a bad review ever, and I intend never to have one,
Amen.
and I've been since 2011. So, that's not my portion and that's not what will happen. I make
Amen.
sure that they have such a fantastic experience. That is something they listen. I've had so many customers that I can't believe who recommended them. And I'm like, what? That person, it was only just a little, we just had a conversation. I didn't know, but how I am, and that's the thing. We are an extension of our brand, just like Ade said. Even though it's not, you might not do bespoke work like me, be a bespoke jewelry designer. You can have a service, or you can have a product, but people buy from people they like, and especially when it's recommended through people they like as well. So it's like, oh, Ade tells me about someone else, like, oh, you should check out Simon. He's a really good guy, and be like, all right, I would take that on face value because I know Ade and I trust him and he's loyal and he would never recommend someone bad to me. And that's what people need to remember. It's not about fast, everything's fast and I just want them to I just want the money now, or just want that service now, or just want to just take your time. So that kind of makes sense.
No, I do, and I love that you've added that, and especially for anybody who hasn't recognized, we obviously referrals have become even more important online. It's just so easy to put a like, no, or down bad review.
Yeah.
Very easy, right? And the impact of it lasts long beyond the money that you may have got out of any situation. So I always encourage people slow, but build your brand, build a reputation, build
Yeah.
something that people can buy into and trust. Because nowadays, if you think about it, product and services are easy on the internet, and especially in a post-COVID situation, we're going to be doing a lot more of our buying and behavior online. So everyone get their head around that. And the etiquette is different. And so there's always going to be a lot of competition. But you know what's going to make people come to you for your product or service, no matter what it is? Like Lenique said, word of mouth. And that's why I
Yeah.
always tell people as well. Always show up
Yeah.
and be your best because you never know who's watching. Sometimes the person who's going to refer you is somebody who's might not even talk to you. They're like, yeah, I've been around that person. I saw them do this. I really like them. You know what? You go and do business with that person.
Yeah, definitely. And it's important that you treat people how you want to be treated. Treat everyone nice. Don't burn any bridges. Listen, let me tell you something, guys. One thing I'll say, never burn bridges. And also, the reason why I say that, I didn't particularly burn a bridge, but what happened is there was an opportunity with a stylist, and I let my assistant deal with what they needed. Big mistake. Um, basically, it was a
Learning. It's a
crucial
learning.
shoot.
It's a
Yeah,
learning.
yeah, and it caused a big, a burnt bridge, but it wasn't on my part. But when things like that happen, where it's something very major, and it was a huge celebrity, huge, and they're a huge stylist now, huge. And I always say to myself, oh, that could have been something so good, but that was the only bridge that got burnt. But I would say that it wasn't of my fault. But from that experience, when it comes to anything important, or anything to do with like your representation, never allow someone else to take control of that. That's the one thing I will say. But never burn bridges ever.
I like that. And yeah, I guess I like what you said there about, at some point, no matter what type of team you've got, there's gonna be some key points where you've got to take personal representation. Everything,
Yeah.
the anointing, the blessing is going to flow through you and you alone. So make sure that you're present there. And I'd also say, yeah, I hear what you're saying in regards to that. And sometimes I don't know about you, but I only know about me. I can only speak for me. The same with anybody listening out there. But sometimes I go through stuff. So I might ask God for something and it doesn't manifest. Or I'm really
Yeah.
pushing for something and it doesn't work. Or I've got something and I lose it. But in that moment, I'm like, that's me. That's my tizzy having a tizzy. Like, I don't sound like that, but just that's my having a tizzy. Right? That's me. I'm going for that. And then later on down the line, something happens where it makes it clear that actually that was supposed to happen. That was part of the ordained part of the walk. It was whatever. And I'm just like, wow, I am so glad. If do you know what I mean? So sometimes we've also got to, I think we've got to look at that. And sometimes what would a bit of faith and just accept that things are, the bridge gets bent down. But also the other thing I say is, as a human being, I've learned that sometimes, and maybe somebody can relate to this as well, sometimes I do accidentally put my mouth and my foot in the wrong place, which sometimes can lead to a burning bridge. What I always say to people is, hey, don't freak out and have a tissy moment. Just try your best to fix it. Own whatever you've done wrong and try and fix it. You know, because that in itself has got integrity in it. That's human beings. Okay, so I got next question for you. As we start wrapping up, you've been awesome, by the way, so thank you very much for this. What is your biggest challenge and or frustration with doing business in a post-pandemic world? Are we in a post-pandemic world, or are we still in the pandemic? I don't even know because I don't watch the news.
We're still in a pandemic, even though it was lovely today. I thought it was summer. I was like, oh my Lord, this will be Jesus, because we're on the sun. I felt like it was, I forgot about the pandemic. I was going into shots about the mask. I was like, because the sun just hit me in my mind. Yeah. And it was like, mask. And I was like, oh God, yeah. So I would say I'm just taking it day by day. I'm really taking everything day by day. I wouldn't say there's any kind of I'm cautious or precautious or anything. I'm just taking it day by day. I'm just enjoying what's going on right now. I'm liking the shift. I'm excited for my future and everything like that. I hope, does that kind of answer the question?
Yeah, I mean, you answered it because that's your way of answering, and I appreciate it. And I'm in many ways about it. It's like I'm appreciating this. I'm appreciating the time. I'm not belittling any of the challenges I recognize people came through. By God's grace, you know, He will use us to be able to help make some difference in that space. But that aside, yeah, I'm also feeling and grateful, and I'm adapting, and I'm liking the change, and I'm also loving the possibilities that it opens. It's just like, to me, there's a whole heap of possibilities that it opens, and so it'd be great to see how we can get that towards something positive. Right, so before we start, go on.
No, I was going to say you're right about that. The possibilities, I would say there's more room for just a lot more opportunities that weren't available before. I feel like if someone says they want to shop and they don't want to pay full rate, yep, that can happen because we're in a pandemic. So you want a, you know, a place well, before, if you wanted to rent or lease, it would have been it would have been very expensive. And now they're just begging for people to come in. And I know a lot of people that have got, you know, free commercial units because of the pandemic. So, you know,
see how my ear jump up when I hear free commercial. I beg, where's these people giving free commercial units? Me, I don't mind them. I'll take.
No. No, do you know what? It will just be at the right time, I'm telling you. Because right now it's not about lease, like, you know, paying for anything. At least, you know, get free 1 year or 2 year free lease, you know, and, you know, not even pay deposit because of this, and be like, yeah, I guess because it's uncertain. But obviously you go in with the mindset that it's going to be success, but they need you right now. You know, a lot of businesses have closed down. There's a lot of empty commercial units and shops, and yeah, it's a good time to kind of people to step out and be like, you know what, I want to go bigger. Let's see. And also, can I just say one thing I need to say? A lot of the opportunities that I've got, or what I said I wanted, they've just been on pure faith. And I've gone and said the impossible from someone, and they're like, have you lost your mind? But I'm not scared to hear no. So for instance, let me give you an example. If I said that I want a shop, and I say that I want that shop, and I'll say to you, I'm not going to pay for that shop. And then I meet with the landlords and I'm like, this is what I want because of what's going on, and I don't want to pay any rent. And I don't, you know, for what, a year, you know, and this is how long I want the lease to be. And, you know, however long, and the clause a lot shorter than it would normally be, because, you know, and then you don't know. They'll probably say yes, because it's like you've gone with that intention to be like, this is what I want. And that's what I feel like people need to realize, the power of the tongue. And you've got to just, you know, there's a lot of things we're able to get free, but we're so scared to get rejected, or people think like we're crazy. And as I said, a lot of the time, the things that I've gone in there and said the impossible and got it, because no one has ever asked before. And it's kind of like, wow, you got a lot of confidence. And I do. So yeah, you just have to go step out and just you know, as I said, I kicked down those doors. So
I love that, man. Words
yeah,
sound power. Do you hear that?
yeah,
And that's a great thing about it. I mean, what you're describing there, when you're describing it, all I had in my head is the image of the Japanese symbol for crisis. Not that I know how to spell it or carve it out, but I'm visualizing what it could look like, right? And it represents two things, right? It's made up of two symbols. One of them represents crisis and one of them represents opportunity. I mean, you've just given a great thing there, right? Somebody, and I hope everybody who's watching right now, you're piecing together kind of the journey of this conversation as well, right? Some of that not being afraid to get a no. For anybody
yeah,
out there right there, there's a number you might want to be interested. On average, it takes 7 no's to get to a yes. So nowadays, I just say to myself, okay, when I get a no, I just add it up and say, okay, that's number 2, number 3, 4, 5. Okay, we are getting ready. Oh yeah, which one? One of you will say yes, because it has to be right. But I
yeah,
like what you're also talking about going in there with intent. So I think for anybody watching right there, there's many opportunities. If you're here, you can get.
yeah,
Imagine what that does for your potential business idea. The risk that it
yeah,
takes away. You don't need a deposit. You don't need to be a pay monthly. You got a year's free. You got that space to go in there and be creative. We're now talking
yeah,
about online because a lot of business is moving online, and so that also reduces the risk because you might not necessarily need to fork out for products and stock and all the other traditional stuff. That's why I say right now we are in a game changing time, right? And the next few years we're gonna see, we're gonna see some real big game changes. So I'm encouraging anybody out there wherever you're at, do take advantage of that. Listen to what we're being told here. Okay, as we start wrapping up right now, got
mhm,
one other question. Well, a couple of three more questions for you. Well, name me, it might expand it to 5, but let's see how we go. You're also the founder of Black Creatives Unite. Tell us a
yeah.
bit about what that is and why it's important.
Yeah, Black Creatives Unite is a platform to elevate my Black brothers and Black sisters to basically bring them opportunities for, networking, casting, just jobs, anything that will elevate us as a people. And that came off the back of, putting out a post on Black owned economy about, just judge me for my talent. And it was a post basically saying that I'm judged a lot because, you know, people judge me because of my color and I just want to be judged for my talent. And I got a lot of creatives that felt the same way. And I was saying a lot of my customers, 99% of my customers are white and, and 1% is Black. But I thought when I would put that post out, I was going to get a lot of backlash, but that wasn't the case. There was a lot of creators that felt the same way. But obviously, Black owned economy is 150K people within the group. And I said, it's very vast and I need something that's more kind of niche. And then
Got
it
ya.
was just like God was just said in my head, like, this, why don't you create your own group? Like, and he gave me the name Black Creators Unite, and I just started it, and we've got like 1,500 members. It's a private group, and yeah, it's just and I also do like live, interviews with Black Creative Unite members because we've got there's so many great individuals just like yourself, Ade. You're a member, and I'm a member of your your group as well. We're doing great things, and you're doing amazing things, and that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of Black creatives out there that are doing amazing things out there, and it's so encouraging to kind of see what they're doing and just be inspired by that because a lot of the time it's all about divide and conquer, but it's about unity. And the motto and the ethos of what Black Creative Unite is built on is like, when my brother or sister's winning, I'm winning. And that's what we
Amen.
have to understand. So we have to be comfortable with seeing one another win, and it's not a problem. It's like, yes, they're winning. And that's what I'm like as a person. I'm not a jealous person. I'm not an envious person because I know what's for me and what's for you is for you. And, it's not about that. And that's how I want us as Black people to be. So we elevate, we go higher and higher. And as I know that if I'm seeing, Ade, he's up there, I know there's a chance for me to get up there. And that's what it's about. It's not one man and one woman in an island. It's we have to be united, and that's how we grow as a community. So yeah, that's what it's about, really.
Awesome, man. I really love that, and I totally agree. I mean, like we said before, none of this is more. It's not about excluding other people from the point of view of whatever. It's more a case of actually recognizing that we have the resources, the skills, the knowledge, the experience, everything that we need to rebuild our communities, and as part of that, to create much more opportunities and to create level out the playing field as best as we can. Of course, we can hope that doors will be open. And the great thing I think that you said there as well, and something that I'm also recognizing as well. And I don't know if it's a case of on the back end of Black Lives Matter or the George Floyd situation and the COVID or whatever, but a lot of people that I speak to who are non-black, they get it as well. And so for me, it's like a lot of the time it's starting to become such a more of a human being type situation, which is being defined by the race. Because I'm meeting lots of people who recognize that as well and say, yeah, it's like, I recognize that, black people don't get as many opportunities. I got agents who even say to me, it's like, yeah, you know what? It's tough. I recognize it. Some of us, we look at the name, and if we think it's a non-European name, we just bin you guys. Like, this is people coming out and speaking about what's happening, and people saying, yeah, I see these things, and I don't even know how to address it, which to me is good for humankind, that we're all waking up and recognizing it's bigger than just this. It's not like, oh, yeah, you can't talk, or oh, you can't come in because you're that or you're not that. We're recognizing it's a human challenge. Like I said, it goes back to the recognizing we've got kids, grandchildren who grow up in the world, and the question we want to ask ourselves is, what type of world do we want them to inherit?
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. There you go.
I hear you on that one. So awesome. Great stuff. So there you go, guys. So head over to Black Creatives Unite. I've seen some of the posts you put out there, which I've also been sharing as well. Some great roles, some auditions, some really cool information. So if you're watching right now, please head over, support that Black Creatives Unite.
Can I just say that Black Creators Unite, not the business page, it's the private Facebook group. So when you're looking for it, it's the group, not the page. Because people are like, where's all these people? Where's all these opportunities? All I see is a few lives here, but it's actually the private Facebook group.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm just going to help the people out there who might not have kind of picked up on that one. So there you go. It says it right there. Private Facebook. So you're gonna dig in there, you're gonna look for it, you're gonna Black Creators Unite, but join it. I'm a part of that group, and yes, there's always some great stuff. And if you're gonna join as well, yeah, feel free to take from that, share. And if you do come across any opportunities, regardless of your background, just please feel free to put it in there. Right? So it's for everybody. We want to create love. There should be love everywhere. Peace. But if not, oh, my belly's rumbling. Are you hungry? It's okay. It's too late. Sorry, I get that. Right. So oh no, I don't even come and join in the conversation just like that. Nonsense. Right. Last two questions. So we got one, which is so where do you see yourself 5 years from now? And Charlotte G also expands on this. So Charlotte, I told you I'd get round to this. This was a question that was already there. You've achieved so much, and what's your vision for Lenique Louis Jewellery going forward? What can we be excited to see next? And that's for Charlotte G.
World domination.
Hey,
I don't do things short measure.
There you go.
And that's real talk, because I've got big plans, huge plans. Amen. And I want to stay within my niche, but I want to be known for what I do. I don't want to be spread too thin. As I said, I'm rebranding as well. So because there's going to be a lot of exciting things coming up. Just being known for a particular thing, but I can't really say. But when you think of Lenique Louis, you know exactly. And anyone that plagiarizes, copies, or anything, I have people will be like, "That's Lenique Louis." So that's what I'm gonna do. So world domination, definitely in 5 years I can achieve that. Definitely without a doubt. In shorter time. So I've got big plans.
I love that, and I'm just going to share what came to mind when you said about world domination right there, and plagiarism and all of that. And I'm sorry that I'm going to use a brand that might not be up to the level of the vision that you have and what you're going to achieve, but that was what came to mind. So when I was hearing that, it's like, Louis Vuitton, like a Louis Vuitton type thing going on there. World domination, you're going to have everything going on there, and totally hear you on that one because, and I love what you also said there. And once again, for me, what I heard there, for anybody listening there, love that. Yes, Lenique. That's from Charlotte G, who also asked the question before. So you hit the right buttons. World domination. There you go. Really, really pushing for that. Oh, we don't push because it's going to happen. It just comes to you. So really in line with that. And now I've forgotten what it was I was going to say. And it was really good as well.
It will come. It will come. But I also want to add as well, I think it's important that people know that when they identify the brand, they know it's a Black woman. You know, that's what's really important. A
Why?
Black brand. And
Why?
I
Why?
will never, ever, ever sell my brand. Ever.
Why? Why is it important? Why is it important? Just for those that might be out there who might not fully grasp it. Why is it important that for you that it is associated with a Black woman, that that brand stays associated with a Black woman and people know?
Because obviously I know a lot of Black brands that were once Black. You know, they were the foundations, they were Black owned and they sold up to bigger corporations that, you know, took them under their umbrella and stuff. But I won't do that. It's important that it's about legacy and it's about generational wealth. So it's something that I know that will be poured into my family, generations to come, and also something that we've got. You know, I think it's so important. It's not about what's the end game. This is something I want to do for the rest of my life. You know, I want to be in, you know, on the outdoors. I want to be making jewelry. I want wind to be blowing like in my hair. I want it to be hot.
Hey,
You
there
know,
you go.
just like, you know what I mean? Like somewhere in
I know what
Africa, I
you mean.
want to be. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? I just want to.
I like that vision. So we're not talking about fans or air conditioning, looking out the window saying, "Oh, lovely." We want to be outside, the breeze, and it's like, "Hey, you can fully
Yeah,
see."
I want to be. Yeah, do
I,
things like that.
I like that one. This is a good vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you on that one, and I know that you're going to achieve it, and just so I'm looking forward to it. And also, I guess for me, when I hear that as well, what I love about that is what I also see is the importance of that. Yes, keeping that legacy that we pass on down to our children. Yes, creating something within our community, but also I see the wider legacy. It's a bit like what I say about what for me was one of the biggest achievements of Obama. For me, I don't measure Obama's achievements based on what he did in the White House or what he didn't do in the White House. Of course, we also understand how complicated and all the other things that go on behind that. But it was the fact that him taking that position sent out a message to millions and millions of other people who have come from similar backgrounds where they opportunities are not available to them. It's you're told you can't come in, you can't play this game, and it's just here you have somebody who's broken through that. Of course, he was on the shoulders of those who came before, who demonstrates that actually you can. To me, imagine the impact that has on lots of kids around the world. Like, what? What are you talking about? I can be the president of the presidents. I'm going for it. Where you, Charlie? And they just go for it, right? That's great. And I also see that yes, having a brand out there which represents, especially when it's dominating, it's global, and it's like above the Louis Vuittons, for it to be recognized that actually, you know what, owned by a Black woman. So that also sends out a very clear message to young
And
Black
privately owned. Privately
and
owned.
privately owned.
Yes, let's
There you
put that.
go. Of course,
Privately owned.
so. And it's going to be so. So I really love that and really appreciate that. So thank you for sharing that. And my last question to you before we
Yeah.
start wrapping. No, actually, first of all, before we go there, how could people get hold of you?
Oh, well, they can contact me through my website, Lenique Louis,
There you go.
www.leniquelouis.com.
That's it. There you go.
Yeah,
Louis.
they can contact me there, or they can contact me through the contact page, and yeah, it will come straight through to me. And they
There you
can
go.
also go on Instagram. I'm not very much there on Instagram in regards to posts, but I do get direct messages. But I would say if it's business related, please do refer to the website, and yeah, just contact me through there.
That's
Yeah,
the website over
all
there.
the information on the contact page. Yeah.
Yep. So let's just quickly just show you that. So there you go. Very simple technology. So you just pop over to Lenique Louis, and then when you're over Lenique Louis, you can just at the top.
Louis.
No, sorry. Why is it with the French I always present the S? So I should not say the S. Thank you for
No,
correcting.
you know what? I always said it's happened. People always like Lewis, and I'm like, you know what? There will be a day where everyone will say my name properly
It's
and
true,
say
right.
Louis. Yeah, because
There you
it's just
go.
like Louis Vuitton, but I
Yeah,
think
but
it's just the breed.
because it hasn't got the S in there, has it?
No, it's got the S.
Eh. Oh, I didn't know. Okay, you're right. I will learn. I didn't know. I thought it didn't have no S. So it's, okay, what's it got? Louis. I got it.
So I was going
Right,
to
yeah.
also say, I was also going to say, if anyone wants to also, it is appointment only, so you would need to contact me to come to the studio, which is based in Holborn, London. So yeah.
Awesome. Great stuff, guys. So here you go. So if you just pop over to the website, you'll find all the relevant details. Reach out, make an appointment, go over, get your lower wrist, super bespoke design jewelry done in a situation whereby you're gonna have a great experience, you're gonna feel comfortable, it's gonna be low risk, and you're gonna have something that you walk away with that you're gonna be really, really, really grateful. And no, it's just you that wherever you go, they go, oh my gosh, where'd you get that from? Like, awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Beautiful.
definitely.
Great stuff. Okay, as we start wrapping up, so one last question for you. And I do promise that this, well, let me not promise because it might go either which way depending on how you answer it, but I intend this to be the last question. What one thing do you know now that you wish you knew before you started business?
Don't get too caught up in what other people say, and how they define you. I think thank God for my grandma, man. My grandma's a prayer warrior, man. I tell you, my grandma has, as I said, it's been a real struggle well, it was. I would say it's not like that now because I've come through the fire, because it has literally been like fire.
Those ones.
Yeah, it has. Like in the industry that I'm at, that is predominantly white, and there's been a lot of indirect and direct racism. Like I've gone through a lot, like different things, being treated different, and there's times that I just get caught up on what people say about me, or just their limitations and stuff. And as I said, I would always speak to my grandma and my mom, my brother, and my dad sometimes, and be bawling. I'm talking about bawling on the phone and be like, I just want to give up. I don't want to do it anymore. Like, it's too much. And and I would say that don't worry about what people say. If you just know who you are, like, just keep going forwards. And I would say I'm so glad that I had them to kind of fall back on, but I would say to my younger self, if that Lenique, people will judge you no matter what. Your work could be the best work, but because of who you look like and who you are, they're always going to have a problem. So now when people act away with me, it doesn't move me. If they say I'm overconfident or I'm too much or whatever, there's always, it's not, I know who I am as a person. So when I come into a room, there's going to be a presence with me. I'm not going to suppress that because you guys don't like what you're seeing, or you guys just don't like me because who I am and I'm a Black woman. It's like, nah, there's nothing you can do. My talent speaks for itself. So as I would say to my younger self, it's like, let your talent speak for itself. Don't worry about what the naysayers have to say or what they have to say. They're going to say something anyway. So you can be as nice as you, but also I will also say, don't change who you are because people are treating you a certain way. Always be the honorable person that you are, because they will get what's coming to them. Karma.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that what you said there, and I can resonate with that because I think I went through a period of time whereby, like I said before, where I was letting life and people around me kind of dictate to some degree what I was allowing myself to be, and playing it down. Do you know what I mean? Some people call it, they call it whining down or whatever, but I was, because of the corporate and type of environments that I work in, like, okay, I don't want to be too much. I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. Let me play it small. And I always share that I think the time when that really I had my first breakthroughs when I had my first son. He's 10 now. And within a few hours, when he came out and he held my finger, I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, you've got somebody who depends on you now. All of a sudden it's recognizing that actually, you know what, I can't be limited by other people's views and versions. And each time I had my children, it was the same situation where it just became more and more so. But also, I've also got to the point, especially as I deepen my walk with God, recognizing that, hey, Jesus is, you know what I mean, from a Christian point of view, is like the ultimate human being, right? It's like, displays all the things which are great. And guess what? They didn't like him. There's lots of people who didn't like him.
Yeah.
If you look at Mandela, all he achieved, for me, he's one of the biggest icons. Guess what? Some people didn't like him. Gandhi, they like him. Mother Teresa, some people don't like him. So the bottom line is, hey, what I learned and what I'll share with everybody out there is, let's get over ourselves. We're not that awesome that we're going to expect everybody to like us. In fact, some people won't. But that shouldn't stop us, right?
Yeah, exactly. And just keep persevering. And everything you said is a spot on. Exactly how it should be. We can't change how people view us. We just continue to be our authentic self. And once you're authentic self, you can go to sleep at night knowing that I was the best version of myself today. That's all you can do, And just like you said about, being a Christian, there's a lot of, in God's word, like we're precious. Everyone in this world is precious. and that's how we have to realize we have to know our worth and how special we are. We're all unique beings, So yeah.
Yeah, and I think one thing you said there is actually when we're authentic. For me, that's why I guess I begin to see life is becoming more, to some degree, about human beings. What I'm recognizing is that when we're authentic, it enables some of us to be able to transcend race, sex, all the other things, and just recognize there's another human being made in the image of likeness of God. Done.
Yeah.
That there's the connection. It enables us to be able to do so much more and leave so much positivity in the world. So once again, I just want to say thank you very much. You've shared so much. You shared a lot. I'm sure that there's great value for the listeners to go away with. So once again, you can get Lenique on a website. Is there going to be any special offers for anybody watching the show right now?
Sorry. Yeah, so anyone that watches the show, they can put in circulate in the bar when they contact me through the contact form. They can just reference you and they can get 10% off. So if they do that,
look at generous, just like that. Wow, thank you.
Yeah, so they can get 10% off, and also anything within the website as well. So they can put that code in, but make sure you do reference circulate so that I know where you guys are coming from.
Great stuff. So there you go, guys. So that's 10% off. So do hang on. Do head on over to leniquelouis.com. Have a look around. See Louis. Sorry, Lenique Louis.com. Right, don't worry. I'm getting there. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for your forgiveness. Right, head over there to let me put it up for you right now, guys. Just head on over there, and then just put in your details, pick up whatever you need to pick up. And great stuff.
Yeah, when you go to the contact, if you go up a little bit, there's a contact. Yep. If you go to the contact page and go up. Down. Sorry.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
They put your details there, and then you put the reference code.
There. So
just put circulate, and then I know exactly where it goes.
Awesome. And then when you reach out to Lenique as well, just feel free to let her know. But awesome. Really appreciate that. So thank you very much. And so for everybody else out there, as we come to the end of the show, just before I say my goodbyes, just remember circulate.co.uk. Follow, feel free to pop over there. Go over there. I'm not sure if you've been over there before, but it's a business directory. In there, you can place your business details. These are for Black businesses. Once again, this is about building the Black economy. It's free, costs you nothing. Yes, I said free. So you just go over there, put in your stuff, and you can come over here. If you're looking for any products or services from the Black community in the UK, just come over here, type in your details, and what you're looking for, and then you'll get some different options popping up. So that's what it is, and it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't, and it don't what it don't. Okay, awesome. So once again, Lenique, I want to say thank you very much. Looking forward to watching your growth. I've been watching your growth, but looking forward to seeing where you're taking this over the next few years. Looking forward to recognizing you. Already recognize you as a top player in your game, but for your brand to go international, so everyone to know it, and that everybody would totally know not to pronounce the S at the end, like I've been doing.
Yeah.
There you go. They know that brand, right? Like I said, when they see it, they will know it, and that so it shall be. And thank you also for sharing authentically so much about your journey, the way that you approach various things, because I find, and the information you shared, because in there are some really powerful key tips and principles for individuals to take on. So I really appreciate it. God bless you and everything that you're doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Awesome. And to all the listeners out there, so thank you once again for your support, always ongoing. I hope you've engaged yourself in this conversation. What do I mean? You've taken away some of the key factors which are involved in helping you to build a business. As you heard Lenique talk about there before, even during these interesting times, a business has grown. You can do the same. And really, it's a journey. Take the steps, keep doing, look for ways to minimize risk, find the passion, keep going, and fear nothing. So on that note, once again, thank you very much, Lenique, and thank you to everybody for listening. And we shall see you soon. Muchas gracias. Take care.